In November 2021, I got an email from the leadership at Peace Mennonite Church in Elyria. Leadership was in flux. They were losing some key leaders. They knew they weren't going to last for very long. The email just basically asked us, would you be willing to partner with us so that we could keep a gospel presence in Elyria?
So Peace Mennonite Church was without a full-time pastor. We had a couple of great lay leaders here, and they decided to look into some different options, and that's when Hans Lehman contacted North Olmsted Evangelical Friends Church.
And quite frankly, I decided I don't think it's for us. But of course, the Lord begins to work, and suddenly I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to reevaluate and look at this some more. So I went to my board of elders.
The first time we heard about the possibility of a merger, I was on board. As a matter of fact, I went home from that elders meeting and told my wife about the possibility, and the first thing she said was, well, I guess we're going there. And from the first we heard of it, we knew we had to be here.
One of the reasons I was most hesitant as we went into this was thinking we're still trying to figure out what discipleship looks like post-COVID and what that means for our church. And what we've realized is that discipleship has really meant stepping out in faith and growing together.
I've never been a part of a launch before. It's not something I ever thought that I would really do, but it's also something I've never really said yes to. I've felt the call many, many times, and I half-heartedly said yes. But when we jumped in 100%, everything's working for us, everything's working out, and it's been such a blessing. I'm glad we finally said yes.
And to a person, they said, well, why not? And suddenly I realized they had a lot more faith than I did. And I began to really question whether or not maybe this really was a possibility and how would that actually work.
Yeah, you never know for sure what's going to happen, but there's also a great sense of relief. Like, okay, our church doesn't have to close. Like, God is still working here.
I think one of the most encouraging moments to me along the journey was the point where I realized that what earlier had been conversations about you and us had shifted, and now people were just talking we. And that to me was just such a powerful moment, because I realized we are now one church, and it isn't the Friends and the Mennonites, but we are one church serving God together.
The first time that the North Olmsted congregation came here, I would think it was the first time in years that we had over 100 people here. And singing, praising to the Lord, it was such a glorious noise. It filled this little church.
I'm grateful we're part of a denomination that anticipates growing, anticipates planting churches. Leadership of EFCER, specifically the multiplication team, gave us a solid foundation that we knew we're not here for a couple of months, we're here for the long term.
And I think we just need to be willing to take that step of faith when we don't necessarily have the plan, when we don't know that we've got the budget, when we don't feel equipped in ourselves. If we're willing to just step out in faith, God shows up, and shows up in powerful ways.